You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by Focus-Biz.com.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about habits for success, tips and tricks to make you a better entrepreneur.
First trick I always like to start with is an ollie, if you can do it.
Do a kickflip.
Do a kickflip. Hi, Chris. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, sir, as well. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here with me.
It's a pleasure.
Indeed. Always is. Always is. So, as you said, this week's episode is going to be more about, I don't know about tips and tricks, just solid good advice about how to build habits that successful people say that they have and that they stick to and they credit to their success. I'm not going to say that I do every one of these things, but I can say that if I did, I'd probably be in a better state than where I am right now.
So today it's about teaching you and teaching ourselves a little bit more.
That's right. That's right.
Let's build some successful habits.
Well, I guess number one, something that I kind of have, but it's still kind of all crazy, is a morning routine. With me, I got kids. I got two kids, a baby and a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, whatever. And they're up between 5 and 6 in the morning. You know, I don't want to get up that early, but I do. And then we just hang out, basically watch YouTube for a little bit. If it's just me and the baby, we'll watch ghost videos or something.
Oh, yeah,
on
absolutely.
YouTube. Just something to slowly kind of wake into it. But then that's where I stop. Then I just go into all right, you get ready for school, make breakfast, get ready for work, and then leave kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of free time in there that I could be using to, just honestly better myself that I'm not using. One of the big things in a morning routine is exercise, because it helps wake your body up, wake your brain up, and it's just, all around good for you. Essentially, I know you're big into going to the gym a couple times a week.
Absolutely. I could say there's a huge difference in my productivity and just how I feel overall physically.
Right, and mentally, emotionally. Helps sort that shit out so you're not sitting on it all the time. And no, I hear you, man. I definitely know that if I exercise more, I wouldn't be in such a rut, or as many ruts as I feel like I'm in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It makes sitting at a computer desk for extended periods of time a little bit easier to do.
Right.
Because your body has some muscle and mass and exercise that's keeping the blood flowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Incredibly important. Try to exercise in the morning. Eat a good breakfast if you can. I've been eating apple on the way to work for the last week and a half. I've been buying apples, and I've just been eating a big ass apple on the way to work, and it's really nice because when I get to work, I'm not really hungry, but I feel good. Like I didn't eat McDonald's or nothing,
Right.
I ate something nice. It's got sugar in it, so I'm a little bit awake.
Mm-hmm.
I can skip a cup of coffee in the morning as long as I have an apple on the way to work.
Okay,
and
nice.
That's really weird for me because I've had a cup of coffee in the morning for the last 15 years.
You've never been an apple guy, have you?
I've never really been an apple guy, no.
What changed in the last 2 weeks that you started bringing in apple?
I was buying those frozen microwavable breakfast sandwiches, and I'd bring them here and put them in my fridge. And when I'd come here, I'd microwave it for a minute, and I'd go sit down and eat. Then it would grease through the paper towel onto my desk, and my hands would be gross. And I'm just like, oh my God.
This is what I'm fueling my body with.
Yeah, exactly. This is the residue. What the hell was I really eating?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, no more of that. Just buy a bag of apples, try that out. So I've been doing that. And sometimes I'll buy those little peanut butter cup things, to bring a snack cup or whatever. And I'll just cut up an apple and have that in the morning on my way to work or when I get to work. And that has definitely helped jumpstart my metabolism. Mm-hmm. I don't feel so bloated when it comes to lunchtime. When it's lunchtime, I'm hungry. I'm not just feeding myself because it's noon. Right. You know what I mean? I'm hungry, and then when I do eat, I don't want garbage food.
Right.
I just don't.
Because that was the habit that you developed over the years, was just breakfast, lunch, dinner at these certain times.
Yeah.
Who cares about what's going in? That's the habit that we create.
Right.
Did you notice any additional benefits or better habits beyond the apple eating? After a few days of eating the apple, did you make other changes to your routine? Did that lead to kind of a snowball effect?
I think so. I think I don't have as much coffee now during the day.
Good.
I generally, I'll have one in the morning, but in this cup, it stays hot for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So I'll have one cup, lasts me until 1 o'clock. And then when that's done, after lunch or whatever, I'll make another cup, and then I'll sip on that until I leave. And then when I get home, I dump out half of it generally. So I just noticed that, because before I was having 3 of these a day, and now I'm having 1.5 just by having an apple in the morning.
Nice.
And it's not like that was my intention. I just noticed that that's what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a simple little fix or addition to your morning routine right there that I've noticed has some good benefits to it.
That's wonderful. Personally, I'm not a fan of breakfast. So generally my wake up time, I'm like a second shift hybrid kind of guy. So generally I'm waking up around 10 or 11, and I won't eat until maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon, but that's my own schedule. So I definitely do an exercise routine within that 4-hour period. My meditation time actually happens in that first hour that I'm drinking coffee. I think some of the points that you mentioned here are going to be establishing that routine, the exercise. What other benefits can you do within that time to create better habits?
Absolutely. And a good thing to do in the morning routine is review yesterday's plan for today, which leads into the second bullet point, is the last 20 minutes of every day, just jot down a couple ideas of what you want to do tomorrow. It doesn't have to be an hour by hour thing. You can do that if you want. Some people are like that. But me, that puts too much pressure on me to stick to a certain schedule, because if I'm not finished with this project at this time, I'm like, well, I got to finish it. I can't just leave it half done and then go somewhere else. That's just my own brain,
Yeah.
So I try to make bullet points of a few things that I at least want to make sure I get done tomorrow. Make a certain amount of calls or something like that, or follow up with a couple different people, and just a few things. And then in the morning, I'll look over what I wrote down yesterday, and then in my head it just kind of expands and elaborates just on those little bullet points.
Right, because now you realize I have to follow up with this client. I need to complete this task. This is going to set me up for success for the rest of the day.
Right.
Keep you productive.
Yeah, and when you do that at the end of every day, it kind of tells your brain and your body, it gives you permission to stop working that day. Like, okay, I set up tomorrow, and yeah, there's probably a million things you want to get done, but you're not going to do them all at once. So just, track a few things you want to do tomorrow, as big or small of a list as you want. But at least having that and then reviewing it in the next morning before you really start your day, it just, like you said, it's easier to elaborate, to fill out the details of those little bullet points.
And I think you can better prioritize your schedule. Because as soon as you see that list, you might see 1 or 2 things that you say, that's not even important right now.
Right.
I'm going to put that to the back burner. This is what I need to focus on. And then you can have a much more productive day the following day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, what the old adage, what is it? Those who fail to plan to fail. And if that's your goal, then go ahead. That's not mine. So I'm going to try and plan a little bit, essentially. And I'm bad at it. It's not like I'm good at planning. I'm not.
I was a terrible, unorganized mess. I hated calendars. I hated any sort of commitment to the next day. I'm like, I'm just not sure how I'm going to feel about that.
Right.
Lead me when I feel like being led is what I would say to my calendar. But I think after a while, I realized how much more productive and how much easier my life is, and how less brain power it took when I started organizing and putting things where they need to be, creating a process for things. But that was not me. That wasn't me back then. Now I'm super on time with everything I do. I used to be late to everything. Hey guys, I'm here.
Yeah, you were kind of notorious for being at least 20 minutes late if you showed up.
Unreliable.
But this was 13 years ago, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, for sure. And it's easy to see that it's absolutely 100% different now.
Yep, that was before I started eating apples.
Eat your apples, people. And another thing that helps with planning is tracking your progress. Track what you did today. You can do that in a journal, in a Word document, in OneNote, a freaking notepad, anything. Just try and write down what you feel like you accomplished per project that you were working on. Like if I make 20 calls and only talk to 4 people, well, I should write that down. Just so that, a couple months or something, when I'm looking over my habits and my progress for the last couple months, I'm like, oh, well, out of every 100 calls I'm making, I'm only talking to 20 people. So maybe I should be making 200 calls to talk to 40 people. And you can't really measure those if you don't track it.
Yep.
And that's another thing that was terrible at in every sense, just tracking the things that I did, my progress, my because in my head it was like, well, what good does that do?
I did the work. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next day.
Yeah.
Who cares about yesterday?
Exactly. Yeah. But when you track your stuff, it makes it easier to plan for tomorrow because you know what you did today, what you didn't get done today, more importantly. And then when you write it down, it's like you said, it's easy to prioritize.
When you start seeing results, you can attribute that to a specific action. You can start to understand what I did different to have more success.
Absolutely
That's a great
true.
idea. I like to do my calendar based on the project or the business that I'm working in. And within that description, I'll list all the tasks that I completed, similar to what you said, making X amount of calls. Did I connect with how many? Just to kind of plan out your day a little bit better and understand, okay, I guess I was productive, even though at the end of the day, you're like, I didn't really feel like I
Right.
accomplished anything.
Right.
You can look back and say, okay, I actually did do something.
Yeah. And you kind of inspired me to start doing that because like a couple months ago, I mean, with one of our video game times, you were talking about like, oh yeah, like I sent 4 emails today and wrote up a contract proposal for somebody. And I'm just like, okay, well, I did that today too, but I'm not bragging about it. But it's not bragging about it though at all. It's just tracking what you did and then plan for tomorrow. Did you do enough today, or do you want to do more tomorrow? I mean, shit, Monday through Friday, I'm a different Adam every day, which sucks,
Yeah.
but it's the truth. So having this planning for tomorrow kind of adds a little bit of that accountability buddy that you really don't get when you own your own business, unless you have a partner or something like that.
Which can be a challenge, trying to motivate yourself.
Oh, yes.
When you no longer have someone looking over you, a boss telling you
Right.
what to do,
Right.
kind of feel lost. Mm-hmm. You're like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's super easy to just absolutely get overwhelmed. Well, I know how the successful part of this business runs, but how the hell do I get there?
I know how to walk it. How do I talk it? Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
How do I do it?
Pretty much. So after your day's done, last 20 minutes of your day, you plan for tomorrow. Next bullet point here is take time for your mindfulness and mental health. And that can be anything from meditating like you do in the mornings before you start your day, crafting, reading, cooking dinner when you get home, anything that helps you zone out from the normal grind of
You have
every
to
day.
unplug from.
Yeah, you have to unplug. Even if it's like going through TikTok for 20 minutes or something like that. It's just like it separates your attention from what you're doing now, and it just lets your brain kind of just go into like floating on a salt bath kind of thing. Just like don't do nothing, just sit there quietly, and then we'll come back to it.
Similar for any piece of machine or anything. The more you run it, the harder you run it, it's going to be more likely to break down and be less efficient. When you can give it some breaks, when you're feeding it the right fuel, the right systems,
Yeah.
then it can operate a lot more efficiently and less downtime. But it's important to take those breaks to give your brain a little rest.
Right.
Because it's not about putting in 8 hours of mediocre work. It's really about, hey, can you do 4 hours of really productive work? You only worked 4 hours now, but you gave your brain that rest in between,
Right.
which is so important.
Yeah, and 4 hours of really dedicated good work is probably going to be more productive and have better results than 8 hours of meh kind of stuff. Your heart's not in it, your brain's not in it.
Right. I'm on the clock, so that's all that matters.
Right.
And that's the difference when you're an entrepreneur versus when you're working for someone else.
Yep.
You have that time to be just leisurely, I guess, and just, okay, I'm getting paid. That's all that matters to me at that point. When
Right.
you're a business owner, every single action you take is going to affect your bottom line.
Right.
So you got to be productive.
Yeah, that was honestly like it's been taking me a long time to. I mean, in this April will be my 1 year with Goosehead, 2 years being out on my own kind of thing, and I'll definitely say that first 9 months when I was really doing this is 2020. So amongst everything else that was going on in 2020, I found myself really basking in that nobody's telling me what to do kind of thing. And I'll be at the office for 8-9 hours and I'll do some shit here and there. And then when I go home, I'm wondering why the fuck aren't I getting money? Like, why is nobody paying me right now? Obviously it's obvious, right?
Of course, the old saying was, if you build it, they will come. And you're like, why isn't nobody coming?
My sign's up and
Yeah.
lit up. What the fuck, people?
Yeah,
You not see me here?
Does nobody want insurance anymore?
No kidding. No kidding, man. It's true though. It's true. It's very easy to just like, oh, well, if I sleep until 10, nobody is going to yell at me unless you're married. Then you're going to get yelled at.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not going to get fired if I sleep until 10. I'll just start my work day then, kind of thing,
Right.
It's easy to do.
And you're more than welcome to do that if you want to.
Right, as long as you're dedicating yourself to putting in your real work, the hard grind that is getting your business built up and going.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not easy. It's not easy at all.
No, but I think just recently you started making some changes to your own schedule to give yourself a little more free time, a little more work-life balance, but still be just as productive, if not a little bit more. And I think you were discussing what a 4-day work week might look like for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because, in the insurance game, my whole idea of what it was is what you see, like State Farm, Allstate, all of those companies and stuff that have been around for 100 years. They used to do everything with paper applications and you'd have to go to your insurance office. It was a whole afternoon and stuff like that, right?
Like, hey, we're taking the kids to McDonald's after. It's a thing.
Yeah, if you guys behave, we'll go. And I get it. I've had to go and do stuff like that with my parents when I was younger, but that's just not how it is anymore. Now everything's online. I can do this job from anywhere that I have the internet. Shit, I wrote a insurance policy up north in your cabin,
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just there working on a little dining room table.
Right.
Out looking into the river.
Yeah. That was nice.
The wind blowing. The trees moving on their own. Willingly.
Because of the wind.
Because of the wind, of course. But I think it's important just to show that sometimes you can adjust your schedule, your work-life balance, and still maintain that productivity.
Right.
Not only for entrepreneurs, but regular employees as well. I think a lot of businesses saw that. Even though they try to micromanage you and say, why aren't you on doing this? Your mouse isn't moving. Well, are you getting the same production as you were as when I was in the office? The answer is almost always yes.
Yeah.
So why are you micromanaging this? Are you trying to run me down 8 hours a day at maximum productivity?
Right.
Or can I have some moments where I can collect myself and get back to it? Because we can't maintain that level of productivity consistently. It's just not possible.
No, it's not. And if you try that, then you're going to get a half-life out of it. You're not going to get the full effect of what a person can do for you or what you can do for you.
Burnout happens really, really quickly.
Right. Yeah. Getting burned out is super true. But on the flip side of making sure that you're taking time for yourself and mindfulness and stuff, when you own a business, I think the biggest and hardest hurdle in the front is getting out of your comfort zone, is approaching people to say, hey, I have something you might want. Trust me to give it to you, kind of thing. This can be with anything, anytime you're selling anything, which is basically what human relationships are, selling shit. But when you do that, it's really hard to do if you refuse to get out of your comfort zone, which again, something I really struggled with when I started. I had the building. I wanted people to come to me. I was comfortable with that. You call me, sure. You walk in, sure. I had to go and talk to people though and get them interested.
You're like, but I'm right here.
Right. I'm between a Domino's and a mailing place. Like, y'all are walking by me. What's up? But yeah, getting out of your comfort zone, approaching people that can help you. Either, even if they're not going to buy something, just approaching people that maybe have been in business longer than you, asking for help from people you don't know. And something I saw a little bit ago, I don't remember where, probably some meme on Facebook or some shit, but it said, if you start a business and your friends and family aren't supporting you, it's easy to give up. It's easy to feel like nobody's going to support you then. But once you passed them as your natural market, you will find random people out in the world that need exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
But you're not going to find them if you stay within your bubble.
Nope.
And it's just 100% true with everything, whether you're selling underwear or face cream or something like that, or underwear cream. I don't know. Some people chafe, all right? But getting out of your comfort zone is 100% necessary, really, if you want to do anything and be good at it and grow and learn from it, because you can't grow and learn if you stay in one spot. You can't. Like a tree can't grow higher than whatever's above it, basically, you know? Although nature finds a way. Nature will always find a way. But we're a little different than nature, because we don't, our job isn't just to soak up sunlight and eat and then grow. Like, we got other shit we got to do. Be productive. Grow our business. Our business isn't growing trees. Unless you're an arborist. In that case, I'll just shut up and move on.
Arborists use this one weird trick.
Arborists hate him for disrupting the tree industry.
Oh, man. Big Wood's going to be mad at you.
Big wood. Yeah, big lumber coming at me.
That's great. Have we touched on the unplug portion yet? Unplugging after you've been productive for your day, you're planning things out, calendars, you're meditating, you're exercising. As a business owner, I think it's difficult for us to unplug because with how accessible things are and customers expecting that immediate gratification, there's always that urge to jump onto your laptop to check into things. And sometimes that's okay, but sometimes you really actually need to unplug and say, I'm done with the business mindset for today.
Right.
Now it's more about personal time, you time, getting back to your life balance. Time to separate work, bring it back to your life so you can be more productive that next day, be recharged and refreshed.
Right. And, besides planning what you're going to be doing the next day, even if it's just bullet points, but stop multitasking. This was brought up to me. It was in a book. God, I wish I remembered this shit where I get it from. But
Was it The One Thing?
It might have been The One Thing. That was a good book. I think it was The One Thing. Where they say, like multitasking isn't really a thing. All you're doing is half-assing a bunch of shit and not whole-assing anything. And, putting your whole ass into something is a lot better than getting a bunch of half-asses. I mean, that's just how it works, basically. And planning and organizing your day is how you do that productively. There you go.
I love it.
There's my take on that.
It's wonderful. So in summary, in conclusion,
try and have an apple every morning.
That's right.
Walk with your chin up, parallel to the ground. Makes you more confident. It was advice given to me when I was 17 by my girlfriend at the time. She said, keep your chin up. You look like you're fucking depressed. I was like, I am. Well, pretend you're not. So,
head down, hands in pocket.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah, keep your chin up, man. The whole fake it till you make it thing is kind of true, but at the same time, like, the only person you got to fake is yourself. Tell yourself that you got this, that you can do this, and plan.
You have to believe in
prepare.
yourself first before you can expect
Absolutely.
others to believe in you.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta.
So in summary, some habits for creating a successful entrepreneur is going to be to read, stick to a daily routine. We haven't touched on this, but listen to uplifting music. Put something on the background for you to enjoy. Plan for tomorrow, today. Take time to meditate. Start your day with exercise. Take time to unplug, journal, calendar, and pace yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see success overnight, but using these to build a routine for yourself is only going to make things more consistent, and consistent growth leads to, explosion, essentially.
Absolutely. And once you've built up these habits, you're doing them for 2, 3, 4 weeks, it'll just be on autopilot after that point. And you won't even think about it. Your body is just naturally reacting to it.
Yeah, it becomes a thing. Well, that's all I got, man. I think we had a pretty good discussion about routines and how to build your day so that it's not a waste, basically, is what this whole thing was about.
That's great. I just put a 15-minute slot into my calendar for grabbing apples after this.
There you go. Some apples.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out and listening. Let us know how you felt about today's episode. And if there's anything you want us to chat about, well, be sure to let us know. Other than that, have a great rest of your day.